Hey, it's a Humble Collector here, and in today's video we're going to be looking at another German death card. This one being for Johannes Rundel. Unlike some of the other death cards I reviewed, as you can see, he's not actually in his uniform, he's in a civilian suit. Probably a choice of his family. Either that or they didn't have a photo of him in uniform. So, for those of you who are new to these videos, I've done a few of them. Essentially, German death cards or funeral cards were handed out at funerals by the family as a way to kind of remember the deceased. It was popular from the 1800s up through, I believe, the mid-1900s. They still do something similar in Germany today, but they print them in newspapers rather than handing them out. But yeah, generally this is a Catholic tradition. You'll see a lot of religious imagery on these. But yeah, that just gives you a rough idea of these. But it is cool because each card is for somebody who was actually killed, during the Second World War, First World War, whatever conflict the cards were made during, and of course there's civilian versions as well. This one's pretty interesting because it has a little more detail on the actual action, where Johannes unfortunately lost his life, more so than usual. And the little saying on the back, or the little prayer, remember, it's a couple paragraphs there. Is definitely a lot stronger than it usually is. You'll see what I mean. So for this first line here, I use Google Translate to translate these, so this is not an exact translation, and I do my best to kind of make it sound not terrible. For the honorable memory of our good-hearted dear son and brother, Johannes Rundel, soldier in an infantry regiment, born on 24th October 1920 in the city of Hausern, not entirely sure, killed on 16th September 1941 in a forest battle near Petrovskoye, which unfortunately I wasn't able to find on just a quick Google search. I'd have to do more research later. But it's in Rusland, so that's Russia, another Eastern Front battle. And he's buried there with 7 of his comrades. So like I said, that's a lot more detail than we usually get on these cards. For security reasons, generally speaking, like regimental or unit numbers were never used on death cards, or very rarely used, because obviously, if an enemy agent were to see that, he'd know, oh, well, this unit was here at this date, which means they're probably still, So, for that reason, you don't see a lot of information. So the fact that they're able to say where in Russia he was killed at, the fact that he was buried there with 7 other German soldiers, and that they were fighting in a forest, that's a lot more detail than we usually get. That makes me wonder if maybe his one of the officers in his unit had written a letter back to them, maybe with some extra detail. Adds kind of like a more in-depth personal touch to it. When we go to the back here, on the top it says, "Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. Now they are at rest from their labors, for their works follow them." And then, "Für mein Vaterland." Butchered that, I apologize. But "for my fatherland." Now that's actually pretty interesting, because usually when you see a saying like this, it's for the fatherland. But the "my," that possessive pronoun here seems to indicate that Johannes, or at least his family, were very patriotic. As we can see under that. "My parents and siblings, I do not return home to you. Death tore the beautiful ribbon for my beloved fatherland." That was one of the parts that was kind of hard to translate. I think beautiful ribbon might be referring to his life. "Where many heroes are buried, there I'm laid to rest. A fresh little cross is beaten. A green lawn covers me." Like I said, fresh little cross. I'm guessing they made a cross, beat it into the ground above his grave. It doesn't translate well into English. I apologize for that. "Goodbye. 3 words: fight, honor, faith. Now grace my simple grave. The fatherland will live, to which I gave my lifeblood." And at the bottom, "Lord, I lay my soul in the arms of your merciful love, as you have given yours on the cross, into the hands of your almighty Father." And at the bottom here, it says "Our Father" and "Ave Maria." I'm guessing that maybe that's for the person who would get this card to say an "Our Father" and a "Hail Mary" for the deceased. And then at the very bottom here we have the printer, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce. But yeah, very interesting death card. I have a couple others I still need to translate from the last grouping that I got. And yeah, like I said, a lot more detail in this than we usually get. And yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. And if you enjoyed it, leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. And I will see you all again soon. Happy collecting.